Not all killers wield weapons. Some never raise their voices, or their hands, or even suspicion. They simply watch, smile, and let their words do the rest. Today, we enter the labyrinth of masks, a place where crimes are not committed with swords, but with soft phrases, false promises, and truths dressed in disguise. Here the guilty don't hide in the shadows. They appear as harmless old women, attentive lovers, generous wizards, or mischievous gods. But behind the gentle smile lies the intent to destroy. In this journey, we'll explore stories where deception proved deadlier than any battle. Because in mythology, as in life, a well-spoken lie can strike faster than an arrow. In the vast tapestry of Greek mythology, the story of Semele stands out as a tragic example of how deception can lead to destruction. Semele, daughter of Cadmus and Harmonia, was a Theban princess who caught the eye of Zeus, king of the gods. Enchanted by her beauty, Zeus began a secret affair with her, hiding his true divine identity. Their relationship did not go unnoticed by Hera, Zeus's wife, who was known for her jealousy and vengeful nature. Upon learning of Semele's pregnancy, Hera decided to act. Disguising herself as Beroe, Semele's elderly nurse, she approached the young woman and with carefully chosen words, planted seeds of doubt in her mind. She suggested that her lover might not be the real Zeus, but an impostor deceiving her. Disturbed by the old woman's words, Semele decided to confront her lover. The next time Zeus visited her, she asked him to grant her a wish. Deeply in love and unaware of the trap, Zeus swore by the river Styx to fulfill whatever she asked. Semele then requested that he reveal himself in all his divine glory, just as he did with Hera. Zeus was horrified. He knew that no mortal could behold his true form and live, yet bound by his oath, he could not refuse. He revealed himself to Semele in his full splendor: thunder, lightning, and celestial fire. The vision was too much for a mortal to bear, and Semele was consumed by the flames, dying instantly. However, the child she carried, Dionysus, had not yet been born. In a desperate and loving act, Zeus rescued the fetus from Semele's ashes and sewed it into his thigh, where it continued to develop until it was ready to be born. Thus, Dionysus became the only god born of a mortal mother and an immortal father, and his birth was marked by deception, tragedy, and divine intervention. This story not only illustrates the destructive power of deceit, but also how human emotions like jealousy and insecurity can be manipulated by those seeking revenge. In the days when the Philistines ruled over Israel, there lived a man named Samson, gifted with superhuman strength, granted by God. This strength was tied to his Nazirite vow, which, among other things, forbade him from cutting his hair. Samson served as a judge of Israel for 20 years, and his life was marked by ongoing conflict with the Philistines. On one occasion, Samson fell in love with a woman named Delilah, who lived in the valley of Sorek. When the Philistine leaders learned of this relationship, they saw an opportunity to neutralize their enemy. They approached Delilah and offered her a large sum of money if she could uncover the secret of Samson's strength. Delilah accepted the offer and began questioning Samson about the source of his power. 3 times, Samson gave her false answers, and each time, Delilah put his words to the test. But Samson always escaped unharmed. Finally, after much persistence and reproach, Samson revealed the truth. His strength resided in his hair, a symbol of his consecration to God. Taking advantage of this confession, Delilah lulled Samson to sleep on her lap and called a man to cut off the 7 locks of his hair. As his hair was cut, Samson's strength left him. Delilah then alerted the Philistines, who captured Samson gouged out his eyes, and took him to Gaza, where he was imprisoned and forced to grind grain. Over time, Samson's hair began to grow back. During a celebration in the temple of the god Dagon, the Philistines brought Samson out to entertain them. Samson asked to be placed between the pillars supporting the temple and prayed to God, asking for strength one last time. His request was granted. He pushed against the pillars, collapsing the temple and killing many Philistines along with himself. This story illustrates how deception and betrayal can lead to devastating consequences. Through manipulation and seduction, Delilah stripped Samson of his strength, ultimately leading to his downfall and death. In the intricate web of Greek mythology, the figure of Medea stands out for her cunning and magical abilities. Daughter of King Aeetes of Colchis and granddaughter of the sun god Helios, Medea is portrayed in various sources as a powerful sorceress, capable of extraordinary feats through her knowledge of the occult arts. One of the most notorious episodes that showcases her ability to manipulate and deceive without resorting to direct violence is the death of Peleus, king of Iolcus. Peleus, uncle to Jason, had usurped the throne that rightfully belonged to him. Even after Jason succeeded in obtaining the Golden Fleece, Peleus refused to relinquish power. Faced with this situation, Medea devised a plan to eliminate the king without staining her own hands with blood. Disguised as an elderly priestess, Medea approached Peleus's daughters, known as the Pleiades, and offered them the possibility of rejuvenating their father through a magical ritual. To prove the power of her spell, she sacrificed an old ram, cut it into pieces, and boiled it with enchanted herbs in a cauldron, from which a young and vigorous lamb emerged. Amazed by the demonstration, Peleus's daughters agreed to perform the same ritual on their father. Following Medea's instructions, they killed him and placed his body in the cauldron, expecting him to be reborn. But Peleus did not return to life, and the young women realized too late that they had been deceived. This act of manipulation by Medea not only eliminated a political rival, but also triggered a deep crisis in Iolcus. Peleus's son, Acastus, buried his father and expelled Jason and Medea from the city. This episode highlights Medea's ability to use deception as a lethal weapon, manipulating others into committing irreversible acts without ever resorting to direct violence. The story of Medea and the daughters of Peleus is a clear example of how deceit can be more devastating than any weapon, and how manipulation can lead to destruction without a single blow being struck. Balder, son of Odin and Frigg, was one of the most beloved gods of Asgard. He represented light, beauty, and justice. His peaceful nature and benevolent presence were cherished by all the gods, except one, Loki, the trickster. One day, Balder began having prophetic dreams about his own death. Alarmed, the gods took action, and Frigg, his mother, went to great lengths to protect him. She traveled across all the realms of the cosmos and extracted promises from everything that existed: animals, stones, metals, diseases, not to harm her son. Everything, except for one plant, mistletoe, which Frigg considered too young and harmless to bother with. When the gods discovered that Balder was invulnerable, they began to play games with him. They would throw stones, spears, and sharp objects at him, and everything bounced off without causing harm. Amid these celebrations, Loki devised his plan. Disguised as an old woman, he approached Frigg and tricked her into revealing the truth. Mistletoe had not made the oath. With that knowledge, Loki crafted a dart, or a spear depending on the version, made from mistletoe. He then went to Hörder, Balder's blind brother, who hadn't joined the game. Loki offered to help him throw something at Balder, just like everyone else. Hörder agreed. Loki placed the mistletoe weapon in Hörder's hand, guided him, and Balder fell dead. Silence. Shock. Asgard was plunged into deep mourning. Devastated, Odin sent Hermod to the underworld to plead with Hel to allow Balder to return. Hel agreed on one condition, that the whole world weep for him, and they did. Trees, rocks, gods, giants, everyone, except for a solitary figure named Thok, who refused to shed a tear. It is believed that this was Loki in disguise, once again sabotaging Balder's return. Balder remained trapped in the underworld. According to prophecy, his death was the first irreversible step toward Ragnarok, the end of the world. Deceiving isn't always lying. Sometimes it's saying just enough, or staying silent at the right moment. It's offering a hand while hiding your true intent. In these stories, no one shouted, no one bared their teeth, but when it was all over, something had been lost forever. Because in the labyrinth of masks, truth never comes naked. It wears fine clothes. It disguises itself as love, as advice, as a promise. And when it finally reveals itself, it's already too late. This week, we continue our journey through a place where words cut deeper than any blade, and the kindest smile might be the deadliest. Don't forget to follow us for more mythology content.